Welcome to Ruining History. Today we've got a whale of a tale.
Wow, that was a lot of energy coming into that one.
Yeah.
Is it about a whale?
Maybe.
Is it Moby Dick?
It inspired Moby Dick.
Oh shit. Dope.
So today we're going to be learning about the voyage of the Essex, which is a ship.
Ooh.
In a place in London.
Essex.
And Wessex.
Wessex.
There's two, wait.
There's a song by someone named Frank Turner, and I think it's a Wessex. He's from. I'll talk about it later.
It might just be.
It might
Look
be.
it up.
Yeah, look it up.
All right, hold on.
I've never totally understood what the reasoning is for killing whales.
Whale oil.
Excuse me?
It was used for candles, a bunch of oil.
Wax just in a whale?
I'm not an expert. I don't know where it is in their body.
Or
Wessex,
their,
bitch! I knew it!
In the early 19th century, the world came down with a serious case of whale fever. That's not to say people loved whales. People actually loved murdering whales. I know. The US was especially big on the practice, as by 1846, their fleet of about 640-odd whaling ships was roughly triple than the number of whaling ships in the rest of the entire world. According to author Richard Ellis, whaling was seen as an admirable career throughout the 1800s, and whale products were in high demand. For instance, the whale's intestinal slurry, called ambergris, was used to make high-end perfumes. Whalebone, or baleen, was used to make corsets, hoop skirts, fishing poles, and umbrellas. And sperm oil was a hot commodity for use in lamps and machinery lubricant. So, yeah, just murdering whales left and right. With all that in mind, today, we're gonna follow the fairly unique journey of one whale ship in particular, and buckle up, because we're in for some choppy waters. On August 12, 1819, the Essex set sail from a port in Nantucket on a 2.5-year whaling voyage with a crew of 20 men under the command of 29-year-old Captain George Pollard, Jr. The Essex was a fine ship. Assembled out of white oak, she was 87 feet in length and sported 3 masts. She was equipped with smaller whaleboats, as was customary for the trade, that measured 20 feet in length.
So this boat had to be big because you had to store the whale, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think,
and other smaller
They probably
ships.
chop it up.
In the water?
No.
Oh yeah, you had to put it on something to chop it up.
How would you lift
How
a
would you
whale?
lift it? Yeah.
I guess you-
They don't have
Maybe
cranes.
a pulley system.
Like a pulley system with a giant mast.
How many people?
20, they got a crew of 20.
Was he
A
the
crew of
oldest guy?
20 people can't lift
Can't
a whale.
lift a whale.
So these are sperm whales. They're not enormous.
How big we talking again?
How big is a sperm whale?
Oh shit.
Okay.
Nope, it just said how big is a sperm.
2 days into the voyage, the ship endured a sudden, violent squall. First mate Owen Chase describes the storm being, quote, accompanied with vivid flashes of lightning and heavy and repeated claps of thunder. Just basic storm stuff. When all was said and done, the squall damaged the top-gallant sail, destroyed 2 of their whaling boats, and nearly sank the ship entirely. But the crew pressed on. There was, after all, money to be made.
It's like the deadliest catch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I'm imagining.
Confessionals going to a little confessional booth back in the day. They write down in the log, I fucking hate Jerry, he sucks.
Fucking Jerry.
I did read that you would generally expect to lose at least one person on these voyages.
That makes sense.
And then
Losing,
there was
like-
19.
They die?
Yeah.
Such is travel back in the old days.
5 weeks out to sea, and the Essex and her crew reached Cape Horn, way down there at the bottom of South America. You see it. From there, they swung around to cruise the coasts of Chile. And according to the account of the first mate, business was a boomin'.
What's funny?
Just the guy going, hey, business is booming.
He's not Rodney Dangerfield.
Business is booming.
Look at my
Business is
suit.
a boom.
It's beautiful.
made
We
of
got
whale.
whale oil up the wazoo.
They took down 8 spermaceti whales, racking up 250 barrels of oil. From there, they headed to Peru, 550 barrels.
How many barrels per whale?
Yeah, it's
Well, let's do the math here.
Thank you.
For 8 whales, they got 250 barrels, which,
because you said this barrel haul was off one trip, right? So that means they at some point caught
5
8
weeks.
different whales.
Yeah.
They would. There's no way they could store that many whales.
I
There's
have
too
a
many whales.
question.
Yeah.
Have we gotten to the point where the history's been ruined yet?
It sounds pretty ruined.
Yeah. We were terrible.
Despite these hauls, Captain Pollard set his sights on the whaling grounds of the South Pacific, and they soon found themselves in the Galapagos Islands, where they restocked and also reportedly captured about 360 100-pound tortoises, because why not?
No,
Chase-
that's where they all went. There's only like 2 Galapagos or 1 Galapagos turtle left.
really? Well, they took care of a lot of them.
What are they gonna
Stop
do
it.
with them? Play
Well,
Frisbee?
They just wanted them.
Turtle
Turtle soup.
And
It is
their
good.
shells make nice bowls.
Chase said of them, quote, "These turtles are a most delicious food. They are strewed over the deck, thrown underfoot, or packed away in the hold. They will live upwards of a year without food or water." Before departing from the Galapagos, as a good prank, I guess, a crew member started a fire on Charles Island where the Essex had been anchored. Things got out of control, the fire spread rapidly, and the crew barely escaped. They left the island a blackened wasteland and could still see the smoke after having sailed away from it for a day. It's thought that the fire actually caused the Floriana tortoise and the Floriana mockingbird to go extinct. Boys will be boys.
Where the fuck was Charles Darwin? Why wasn't he doing anything?
I mean,
D-Dog, he was studying.
Yeah.
It seems like a ship full of Logan Pauls.
Oh my god.
That is an actual nightmare.
What if we steal all these fucking turtles? That's funny as fuck. Let's
And then
set this
another
place
one.
on fire.
Hell yeah!
Steal all these goddamn turtles. Oh my god.
After that, things went smoothly for a couple of months. In November of 1820, more than a year into its voyage, the crew of the Essex were undergoing another routine day. The whale boats were out harpooning, and First Mate Owen Chase had stayed on the ship to make some repairs. As Chase details in his first-hand account, "I was in the act of nailing on the canvas when I observed a very large spermaceti whale, as well as I could judge about 85 feet in length. He broke water about 20 rods off of our weather bow and was lying quietly with his head in a direction for the ship. He spouted 2 or 3 times and then disappeared. His appearance and attitude gave us at first no alarm. But while I stood watching his movements and observing him but a ship's length off coming down for us with great celerity, I involuntarily ordered the boy at the helm to put it hard up."
That's a
Garrett's
ship
eyes
term.
just went so wide.
All of these ship terms
Are-
sound super sexual.
Yeah, because they're all trying to fuck each other.
The words were scarcely out of my mouth before he came down upon us with full speed and struck the ship with his head. The ship brought up as suddenly and violently as if she had struck a rock and trembled for a few seconds like a leaf.
You took my family, you son of a bitch.
You went Liam Neeson on
like-
their ass.
Yeah, real Liam Neeson
He's like,
whale.
I loved one of those turtles.
The whale loved the turtle.
Obviously, though, there were survivors, though, because
Yeah,
this is
he's
being
telling the story.
told by somebody,
Yeah.
and dead men tell no tales.
They tell no tales?
Yeah.
No, they don't tell tales, they're dead.
I thought you believed in ghosts.
Oh shit, yeah, what about that, idiot?
The rattled crew watched as the whale passed under the ship and began to thrash violently in the water. Chase writes, quote, "He was enveloped in the foam of the sea, and I could distinctly see him smite his jaws together as if distracted with rage and fury."
But what if the whale was just a little like mindless sometimes, just like to close his eyes and drift, and he just runs through the water and just knocked into the ship and was like, oh shit. Like, oh no.
Yeah, whale doesn't have on his glasses.
He didn't put his whale glasses on. Can you imagine minding your own business out in the sea and then someone just fucking tries to kill you for existing?
You get hit in the ass with a harpoon.
Not pleasant.
Not great.
The whale disappeared, much to the crew's relief, and the men got to work repairing the ship. It's hard to say what could have caused the whale to attack a ship head-on. Zoologists agree that sperm whales are peaceful animals, and while experts believe they're capable of attacking if threatened, they're more likely to dive away from something as large as a ship. The whale the Essex encountered, clearly, was cut from a different cloth. And if the crew hadn't yet pieced that together, they would soon. Chase recalls hearing a man call from the hatchway, quote, "Here he is. He is making for us again." The whalehead returned, this time seeming to move at twice the speed. Quote, "The surf flew in all directions about him, and his course towards us was marked by a white foam, which he made with the continual violent thrashing of his tail." Chase estimated the whale to be moving at 6 knots. The second strike was calamitous. After striking the bow, the whale disappeared, this time for good, and the crew were left with a sinking ship. The Essex was taking on water so rapidly that the crew only had time to lower the remaining whaleboats and gather what supplies they could.
Funny how these guys seem so badass when they're just hunting the whales, but one whale charges at them and they fold like a goddamn lawn chair.
Yeah.
Were there still turtles on the ship at this point? Because
Yeah, those turtles are dead.
they're
No,
dead,
they could
drowned.
they won't drown.
Tortoises don't swim.
Dang.
Not sea turtles.
That
These are
sucks.
tortoises.
Captain Pollard returned on his whaleboat to find the Essex on its side. Quote, "He was so completely overpowered with the spectacle before him that he sat down in his boat, pale and speechless. There were now 20 men in 3 whaleboats, about 20 feet in length. By Chase's estimate, they were more than 1,000 miles from land.
Oh, good.
yeah.
Good shit.
Mama.
Hell yeah.
I mean, they had this coming.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
We all agree.
Yeah, for sure.
They burned an island, stole 100 tortoises, and killed 8 whales. Yeah.
Closest to the wreck of the Essex were the Marquesas Islands and the Society Islands. Captain Pollard thought these were good options. The crew begged to differ. They'd heard rumors of cannibalism on those islands and thought it better to travel towards Chile or Peru, perhaps hoping another whaling ship might rescue them. And so they sailed eastward. For the record, there weren't any cannibals on those islands.
Oh, they probably would have had a nice little life.
Yeah.
They probably would have.
Fucking idiots.
Just trying to avoid cannibalism, you know?
Honestly, I'd start a rumor of cannibalism if I went to an island and I was like, I don't want a bunch of people coming here.
that's
This
good.
is my fun island that
Yeah.
I'm
Don't
gonna come
go
to and be
there.
like, oh yeah, no, there's a ton of cannibals. I wouldn't, and you can't even outsmart them.
Yeah.
And they have it unlocked. Just
And they don't
avoid
even
it.
taste good
Can't
themselves.
even outsmart them.
They set off in 3 whaleboats, one piloted by Captain Pollard, one by First Mate Owen Chase, and one by Second Mate Matthew Joy. They were stocked with 2 months' worth of rations. It wasn't long before the food supply became saturated with salt water, dehydrating the crew as they ate their rations.
I feel bad for the few of them on there who are like, I just need to make some money for my family.
Yeah.
And then you have a couple of those D-bags like, let's burn the island. It's like, Chad, stop it!
Yeah.
Stop it!
You ruined it in my mind. I always imagined them going, yeah, burn it down, because now I feel
No,
bad
I
that
think
some
that
of them are
there's
gonna
one
die.
sort of like, oh man, I wish you guys wouldn't. Oh geez, too bad I'm too small.
Days passed, and passed, and passed. And 2 weeks later, a sign of hope. The crew spotted an island, Henderson Island. Imagine their disappointment to find it barren, offering them refuge for only a week before it had been completely stripped of resources.
I love it. There's nothing better than the slight window of hope, only for it to just close on your face.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Too bad they couldn't eat their whale oil, huh? Fucking douchebags.
The men had no choice but to get back in their boats. Or they had some choice, I guess, because 3 of them decided to stay behind.
Do we know what
Honestly-
happened to him?
We may find out eventually.
Shane.
And those men.
Wrote Moby Dick.
We're the 3 Stooges.
God, I hope they get eaten by crabs. That would be freaking dope.
The sea had not become any kinder in their absence. It was mid-December now, and the small whaleboats were beginning to take on water. Worse, the men were reportedly menaced by whales. Chase describes hearing them in the dark of night. Quote, the terrible noise of whale spouts near us sounded in our ears. We could distinctly hear the furious thrashing of their tails in the water, and our weak minds pictured out their appalling and hideous aspects.
I can't imagine the madness that must be just right there, tapping to get in when you're just on the open sea. Like, will I make it?
Oh, just starting to go crazy.
Yeah. Ocean crazy.
They say the sea brain.
Well, with sea brain in mind.
On Chase's boat, terror was beginning to take hold. The crew was racked with hunger, and the first mate described one crewmate descending into madness. Quote, he spoke incoherently about everything, calling loudly for a napkin and water, and then, lying stupidly and senselessly down in the boat again, would close his hollow eyes, as if in death. The crewmate then underwent, quote, the most horrid and frightful convulsions, while he died the next morning. Everyone, mind you, was still starving.
Eat that dude. Eat that dude.
Oh, man.
Eat
It's coming.
that dude.
It's gotta be coming,
Eat
right?
that dude.
The decision couldn't have been easy, or maybe it was. Chase recalls, quote, we separated limbs from his body and cut all the flesh from his bones, after which we opened up the body, took out the heart, and then closed it again, sewed it up as decently as we could, and committed it to the sea. The meat was heated on a flat stone and eaten. Said Chase, quote, I have no language to paint the anguish of our souls in this dreadful dilemma.
But again, we're still dealing with whalers. He might be inflating this.
Yeah.
True.
I wonder if they were ever like talking about how they'd like to be cooked if they were gonna die.
I probably would.
Like, it would be like,
I would.
smoke, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
Smoke me.
Smoke.
Somebody smoke me.
In the next week, 3 more sailors would perish. They too were eaten. One of the 3 small boats disappeared, and Chase and Pollard soon lost sight of each other's boats. February 6th. On Captain Pollard's boat, the men had become almost too weak to talk when Charles Ramsdell suggested they all draw straws to assure themselves another meal. They did so, and the short straw went to one Owen Coffin, who happened to be the cousin of Captain Pollard. To his credit, the captain offered to trade places with the boy. After all, he had promised Coffin's mother that he would watch over the boy once out to sea, but Owen wouldn't have it. Ramsdell, who had initially proposed the drawing of the straws, shot Owen Coffin. Quote, "He was soon dispatched," the captain recounted, "and nothing of him left."
I thought just to experience the drama of being on a little ship, we could just draw straws and see which one of us would be eaten.
Do we all get a beard?
We get a little beard. You're loving this.
Oh, yeah.
My only motivation here is to not lose, and I'm still nervous, not, I hope you don't eat me alive.
I'm alive!
Oh, thank God!
I think they're all the same height.
I'm saying in my head, Heart of the Cards.
Yu-Gi-Oh? You're going Yu-Gi-Oh? Oh, Heart of the Cards.
Oh my God, Shane, it's between you and me!
If it's me, I'm gonna be so sad, but that's a lot of meat.
Yeah.
That is a lot of meat.
Oh!
Oh
We're eating Shane. Yeah, you feed us.
That's
for
devastating.
months.
That's a lot of bones.
I'm gonna be real sad.
I gotta be honest, I got some meaty legs.
Oh.
I've
well,
always found them to be quite bean Polish, so it doesn't look like a lot of...
My thighs? Strong.
You think they ate the dicks?
yeah. They had to eat the
I mean,
dicks.
that's probably pretty chewy.
On February 18th, 1821, Chase's boat spotted a ship and made their way for it. They succeeded. After 89 days lost at sea, they had been rescued.
So Owen Chase, the shitty first mate, he's good.
I'm taking this off.
I
Yeah,
wasn't
this is a lot. I gotta.
I don't know how you beard fellas do it.
300 miles away, Pollard's boat continued to drift. It was only Pollard and Ramsdell now. Writer Gilbert King describes the harrowing circumstances. Quote, "They had only the bones of the last crewman to perish, which they smashed on the bottom of the boat so that they could eat the marrow. As the days passed, the two men obsessed over the bones scattered on the boat's floor. Almost a week after Chase and his men had been rescued, a crewman aboard the American ship Dauphin spotted Pollard's boat. Wretched and confused, Pollard and Ramsdell did not rejoice at their rescue, but simply turned to the bottom of their boat and stuffed bones into their pockets. Safely aboard the Dauphin, the two delirious men were seen, quote, sucking the bones of their dead messmates, which they were loath to part with."
I gotta say, bone marrow is pretty tasty.
It is really good.
I had bone marrow once at a fancy restaurant, and
Fantastic.
A little bit upsetting that they were rescued, just turned to look at them, and then just started shoving bones in their
Yeah,
pockets.
it's hilarious.
It's kind of hard to come back from meeting all your friends.
yeah, I was about to say,
Yeah.
you've seen
Yeah.
some shit.
Been there.
Yeah.
Not an easy bounce
You've been
back.
there? Kate's led a life.
8 men had been rescued in total. 7 men had been eaten. The survivors were reunited in Chile, where they healed up and hopefully received some counseling. They sailed back to Nantucket, and there they reportedly received no judgment for their actions, as cannibalism was known to be an unfortunate reality of maritime desperation. That being said, Captain Pollard faced a cold reception from the mother of Owen Coffin, but I guess that's fair because he ate her son. The crew members who had stubbornly decided to stay on Henderson Island survived on bird eggs and shellfish for nearly 4 months before being rescued by an Australian ship. Good move, guys.
Good move.
Way
There you
better
go.
than eating
There you go.
your friend.
Oh, so
Yeah.
much better. Shellfish and eggs, yum.
Drinking
They're probably
pina
like, oh, the
coladas.
ship's here.
Damn.
We're good.
And that zany crew of that third small whale boat that mysteriously vanished eventually turned up on Ducie Island, where they apparently got really into being skeletons.
They died. They were bones.
As for the survivors, all 8 of them returned to sea. That's commitment.
I feel like at that point, how else are you going to survive in society? The noises of the ocean that you remember are too loud to get a good night's sleep. So you gotta get back on that boat, Shane.
Oh, okay.
Jesus Christ.
They're all southern gentlemen up there in Nantucket.
Yep.
All right, what do you guys think overall?
Karma's a bitch.
Yeah.
Well, how could you ever kill another whale?
I'd be killing whales left and right. You made me eat my nephew.
A sad, messed up story on all sides. And let's leave whales the fuck alone.
Leave whales alone, leave tortoises alone.
Leave your nephews alone.
Leave your nephews alone. Good
Sure.
God.
Leave entire islands alone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I enjoyed it.
Well, what a fun story, huh? Sorry, we really shouldn't have ended the season on a note like that. Should have ended with the bear, frankly. We just get a quick peek at Wojtek? Oh, there's that cute guy again. Miss him. What's the moral here? Don't eat your relatives? Maybe we just don't meditate on it too much, because frankly, it's a bummer. Hey, thanks for learning with us all season. This has been Ruining History. Bye. Don't kill whales.